Take your fun full throttle with a single touch. There are places to fly high, swing low, or make the old bell ring. Your targets are in sight. Better your game by playing ball of almost every variety. Need to catch your breath? There's a place for that too. Countless ways to play beyond the swing sets. Breck, we're more than a playground.
Hi, gang. Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach. And yes, you don't have to adjust your set this week. Before we get started, got to thank Jonathan Poche for doing an awesome job last week in your absence, Coach.
Well, that's why we picked him. You know, he'll do a good job. You know, and he didn't get angry with me.
Now, he's a great guy. And if you missed last week's show, check it out on YouTube. But you'll also know that Jonathan Poche, who filled in for Coach last week, is also your co-host of Tigers Roar with the spicy Buddy Sanjay, also carried here on the Pelican. Did I say Buddy Sanjay? Buddy Sanjay. Yeah, Buddy, you know I love you, brother. Coach, let's start this week with something we don't normally start the show with. LSU Lady Basketball Tigers cracking the top 10 nationwide for the first time this year and the first time since 2009. Obviously, those young ladies are buying what Kim Mulkey is selling.
Well, she brought in, obviously, some other players to go with what was already there.
Right.
And the transfer portal really helped. I think she brought a couple of people from Baylor, which really helped. So, but she's a really good coach.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a track record of being a winner. She's won national championships. And LSU is fortunate to have her.
It's interesting that you say that because I looked at the rankings shortly after they came out. Baylor, where Kim Mulkey left from, is rated number 5 in the country. LSU, where she left Baylor to come to, is ranked number 8. That would be a heck of a matchup down the road, Baylor and LSU, with the history now between them. That would make for a heck of a matchup.
See, that's people like you. This is what you think about. Those are the guys. I don't even think about that kind of stuff. But only Clarence Buggs would be able to sit there and think about that.
I'm just saying. Number 5, number 8, top 10 matchup. Former head coach here, coach left, brought this program up. Their program still ranked number 5 in the nation. That's a storyline that you just can't ignore.
Okay, you're right. You're right. Okay.
Now, from a coach's standpoint, because you had to do this early in your career and throughout your career, what is entailed in getting young people to buy into what you're selling?
Well, it's a first they have to be able to play before they can buy in.
Yeah,
let's make sure.
Let's hope.
I want to make sure we get that right. You just can't walk in and get everybody. They may buy what you're selling.
But do they have the talent
That's
to
right,
execute?
to execute it.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. So we don't want people to get carried away and just say, she came and waved a magic wand.
Nah.
They had to have some talent
Uh-huh.
in order to be in this situation.
Yeah.
So with the talent that she had to work with, she was able to develop the cohesiveness and teamwork that is required to be successful. That is what they bought into.
Yeah.
That this is my role. This is what my skill set allows me to do. And that's what she's done, put people in the position where they could be successful with their skill set.
Right now, they are in sole possession of second place in the SEC. And when you consider South Carolina is number one, they came within a hair's breadth of beating the number one team in the nation. Says a lot about what's going on up there at the PMAC.
What is a hair's breadth? I need to be able to equate that to answer your question correctly. Never heard of that.
Yeah, that's the breadth. You know how small a hair, a rabbit,
Ooh,
is.
yes.
And just that little bitty breadth, a hair's breadth away. At least that's what I'm going to make it to be today.
And you know, all of the teams that I hadn't seen many of them, but the thing that I know about the collegiate teams, they all can be beaten on a given night. There is no, like UConn used to be unbeatable.
Yeah.
They were just unbeatable.
Yeah.
And now they're not that anymore. So I just think that who plays the close to perfect game that night are going to be the team with the Stanford and those kind of teams, and UConn and South Carolina and LSU and Baylor, all those teams.
You talked earlier about the caliber of talent that Coach Mulkey was able to bring to Baton Rouge. So far this season, 5 wins over ranked opponents. That's got to do wonders for a new, although I say new coach, new facility, new program. But to win 5 games over ranked opponents, that's got to do wonders for the confidence of these young ladies.
Yeah, I think it is. And probably some of those wins were conference wins because the SEC is a very talented conference, you know. But I think that, it's going to help her with recruiting.
Oh, yeah.
Because now she can go in and go after some of the top recruits. And, she's going to try to probably get some big girls and point guards and shooters. Those are the things every team needs, program needs. But you also have to have role players. The girls that's going to play the defense, going to be able to make the good passes. And this is how you build teams.
Yeah.
You build them with size, shooters, point guard, and then the other intangibles you have to put together.
We talked about the fact that looking at the record, looking at the ranking, sole possession of second place in the SEC, obviously these young talented women are buying into what Coach Mulkey is selling. But at the recent Florida game that they won, 13,620 butts in the seats at the PMAC. Obviously, the fans are buying what Coach Mulkey is selling too.
Oh, yeah. And that's one thing about LSU supporters. I have to give it to them in all the sports. If you're winning, they'll come and support you. This is a collegiate high school sports town.
Right.
We don't have professional teams here. So they're going to, if you could put a really quality program on the floor, you'll find out you're going to get the support from the fans.
Yep. And of course, that ends up leading to, inevitably, conventional wisdom would say, when you get the fan support. I mean, bringing in a young lady on a recruiting trip, and she walks into the PMAC, and there's almost 14,000 screaming fans inside a building for a female college basketball game. I know young people these days have a lot of distractions, a lot of things, but I don't care who you are, walking into a facility for a ladies' college basketball game, and there are 14,000 people in there, that'll make you want to come to that school real quick, won't it?
And when you spell go Geaux,
yeah,
that's something wrong here. They're going to say, they're speaking a different language,
right.
and I can understand them.
Right.
I want to be a part of it.
What is Gex Tigers? No, it's Go. But that's a part of the culture. I mean, it's people all across the planet know Louisiana's a different place. The food's different.
Yeah.
Music's different. Culture's different.
Names are different.
Names are different. Pronunciations are different. But at the end of the day, all that may be different, but you got 14,000 people that have come to watch a women's basketball game. You're willing to take a shot when you're looking at a situation like that. I know I would.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think that people are we're at a point in society now where people are just so happy to be able to get out of the house, which we talked about, and to support a winner. And they, Kim Markey is a homie.
Oh yeah,
she's right there from Hammond.
That's right.
And she's a homie, and
that's right.
They like what she's selling. And the kids are playing good for her. I just think it's really good for Baton Rouge. It's good for the businesses here in Baton Rouge. When teams win, people spend money.
That's right. That's right. Now, for our white fans watching right now that had to write down, honey, give me a piece of paper. Homie. We got to figure out what homie is. I'll never forget. Quick story. I'm hosting Eddie Robinson's TV show for Grambling, and my photographer at the time was a great young guy, Bob Bacasio. Have no idea where Bob is, but if you stumbled across it, Bob, had some great times. Love you and your family. And there was a guy playing for Grambling that was from Baton Rouge. So every time we'd see each other, how you doing, homeboy? All right, home. How you doing, homeboy? So finally, Bob's curiosity got the best of him. He said, Bugs, why y'all call each other homeboy? I said, well, that's two guys that are from the same hometown. We're homeboys.
Yeah.
And you can see the light come on in his head. So when he said homie, he was not saying homer, avid fan. He's saying homie. She's a Louisiana girl. You got to think right now, 6-game win streak, only 2 conference games left, 1 at home, 1 away. Coach Mulkey has this team peaking at just the right time, getting ready for the postseason.
And that's exactly what teams want to do. Coaches live for this moment where you can be playing good at the end of the season. And I remember when I was coaching, that was the one thing my team was known for. We start out slow, but boy, toward the end of the year, we were peaking at the right time, getting into the tournament. And it's a coach's dream, to be honest with you.
Well, I know that the welcome that LSU fans have put out for this team and this new coach, that it will continue the closer we get to the postseason, and hopefully it will ramp up even more. It's a marvelous turnaround story. In less than 1 season, to look up and right at 14,000 people for female basketball in Baton Rouge. Way to go, Coach. Tip of the hat. And the good news is she's just getting started. First break of today's show. We'll come back and talk more with you right where you've got it on today's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
She still got to deal with people like you.
Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, we'll shift gears a little bit. College baseball season underway, kicking off for both the Tigers and the Jags last weekend. What, if anything, do you miss with the season starting again? I mean, normally, for God knows, for decades, this time of year, Roger Cador was in a certain mindset, had a certain list of things, and had gotten it down to a science. Okay, I know we got to do this, we got to do that, and we got to look ahead to this. What, if anything, do you miss this time of year?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't really miss anything.
None of it?
Not anything now. You know, I went to the game in New Orleans this past weekend. Southern played in the Andre Dawson Classic. And I came away realizing I didn't miss anything because it was cold. It was cold. And a couple of my former players were there. And they asked me the same question.
Right.
Coach, do you miss it? And I said, no. Then they said, one thing I know you don't miss them doing parents.
And the street committee.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But to be honest with you.
Not even the anticipation of what this group has the potential to do, or we won the championship last year, the fans are back. None of the anticipation. I know this is a good group of kids, and they listen well, and they want to be the best they can be. None of that comes to mind.
And the thing is, the beauty is that the kids want to shake my hand, want to hug me, the players, because I don't know them, but they want to do it. But the key to it all, Clarence, is I'm far enough removed now from 17 to 22, where I'm numb to a lot of the things.
Right.
You know, and it's not like I left with a bitterness. True. I left being happy. And I remember Steve Schneider saying, the Channel 9
sports anchor, sports director.
He said, rather than a retirement, it was like a party. Yeah. My retirement was like a party.
Right.
That's what, and that's me. You got me? It was nothing facade about it. It was the real me.
Right.
And the thing is, I had planned. A lot of people don't really know, Clarence. I retired in 2013.
Right.
But because of Chancellor Jim Lorenz
at the time
asked me to stay on, knowing that we were going to go through the NCAA thing, and he said, I need for stability you to stay on.
Somebody to guide
us through, because you know, he knew he knew we were going to have rocky roads, and we did.
Right.
So I retired in 2013, and he asked me to stay on.
Right.
So people don't really understand.
Yeah.
I had retired, and I stayed on to make it the road a little easier for the next person. But the key to the whole thing is that not everybody can do that. A lot of coaches struggle with letting go. They struggle.
Right.
And I've talked to him, I said, let it go. The other thing is that I played professional baseball. I walked away from it.
On your own terms.
On my own term. I walked away and didn't look back. See, and again, people can't let it go.
Yeah.
So if you're able to do that in life, look down the road and say, you know, now I've been busy doing other things. I was really traveling a lot before the pandemic hit.
Definitely.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Do we regular folks, us fans, short for fanatics, do we truly grasp how addictive the roar of the crowd can be for some people, coaches and players particularly? They knowing their performance level has dropped, knowing they don't have a realistic shot at a championship, this would be the time to gracefully bow out, but many of them just can't do it.
They can't do it. You use the correct word, addictive.
Yeah.
That's what it really is. It's an addiction.
Right.
Because people don't want to break that cycle.
Right.
Because they don't know what the future holds.
Yeah.
I had playing, I'm telling you, I had coaches who could tell you.
Right.
I talked about what I was going to do, what my plans were when I let it go. And I was able to do it. Now, again, I'm not going to call a name, a really good friend who is a coach, and he told me recently, God, I missed it. I can't. And I said, man, you're so much better off.
Right. Right.
I said,
and there's a whole world out there.
I said, you're so much better off if you just let it go. I said, you could do things you never got to do before.
Yeah. When you want to do them, the way you want to do them, as much as you want to do them, without all those constraints on
the constraint and the headache with the parents, because he complained about the damn parents. The damn parents. And I love parents, but because I'm one.
Right.
But do it. Come on, parents.
Let the coach
please.
You parent and let me coach.
Why? You think you can know more than the coach?
You look at both sides of town. Up on the bluffs, Chris Crenshaw. South side of town, Jay Johnson. Is there anything more exciting for fans than watching the beginning of a brand new era?
No, it's nothing more, because I remember, even though Skip might have came in a year or two before I did, but when we came, Skip and I really worked so well together for the community. Yep. I'm hopeful that maybe Crenshaw and Johnson can have a similar relationship.
Well, I saw an article recently that said they have conversed regularly, and he knew Jay when he was in Arizona. So they've talked on any number of occasions about baseball things, probably never imagining that they would both end up as head coaches in Baton Rouge. But hopefully they will continue something that you and Skip had the foresight to see.
Yeah, and I talk with Chris quite often, because he does call me. He played for me, so he's one of my players. And I try to talk about how he's got to be able to go out and fail in the community to get better. Right. I said, this is what, it's like baby walking. He's going to fall.
He's going to fall, yeah.
And I said, you can't expect me to go out there and do it for you, which is what people at Southern want. Oh, let coach go. No, I can't help him.
No.
It becomes a parent hindering the kid.
Yep, and a crutch.
A crutch.
Yeah.
And I said, you got to go out there and fail to learn how to get it done, because you got to do it on your terms.
Yeah. If ever there's a sport where someone should appreciate you saying it in that manner, it would have to be baseball. You taught me early on. Baseball is the only game we play that is predicated on what?
Failure.
Failure.
It's predicated on failure. You 7 times out of 10, you fail.
Yep.
That's not really realistic in life.
Right.
But in baseball,
That's
is.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You know, so I tried to encourage him in that manner to let him know that I failed a lot. Mm-hmm. And it made me better.
Yeah. What do you remember most about his time at Southern? Anything come to mind automatically when you hear the name Chris Crenshaw?
I had some great moments of signing players in situations coaches would never dream of.
Like, give us an example.
Well, our office was at South Hall.
Okay.
You know, the old dilapidated building. And he came in, I brought a catcher, and I had him throw it right outside the building. I had him throw outside the kid.
We don't need no fields.
Come on, man. Yeah, right here.
Outside the building. Throw.
Yeah, let him throw. Throw me 10 pitches right now. Okay, good. Let's sign. The rest is history. That's what I remember.
Right.
It's just classic.
Yeah.
And it's all in line with how I've signed so many kids. I did things coaches could never dream of doing. They would be afraid to do it.
How much of the way you approached your tenure, how much of it was due to the fact that when you first started, everything the baseball program owned, you could put in one shopping cart, didn't have a field to even play your games on? How much of that shaped what you did in getting kids in and coaching the game that you love?
Clarence, I grew up in an environment where we had very little amount of things to work with.
So you came there knowing how to make a whole lot out of a little bit.
Out of a little bit. And knowing that, you know, if you had to do something, you had to do it because I didn't have all of the luxuries.
Right.
And the
you didn't even have the necessities.
Yeah, and the necessities.
You didn't have the basics in some cases, a field to play on.
Right, but so I had to make things work. You know, I saw my daddy. You learn from experience.
Oh, yeah.
See my daddy make things work without having the necessities, but he always made it work.
Yeah.
And he improvised. So when I went and signed a kid that I used to call El Duque outside in Florida,
right?
I signed him in his living room, and I said, "Let me see show me your delivery and everything." Right. And I said, "Good, you're good to go." Signed him there. Well, when I go to Macon, Georgia, and I signed Blue Moon Odom's cousin, and right outside of a McDonald's, I signed him. I said, give me a couple of balls, throw them. Good, let's go. You're good to go. How many people would do that? They would be afraid to even fathom that this is legitimate.
But you know, speaking of we are all products of our life experiences, I'm not surprised by that at all. I cannot tell y'all the number of times, and Marty will back me up on this, Alan will too. I can't tell you the number of times we're shooting a show at the Belle of Baton Rouge,
Embassy Suites,
Marriott, wherever, and somebody's walking through the lobby, and we're in commercial break or just getting ready to come back, and Roger will, "Hey, excuse me, what's your name?" "I'm Roger Cador, coach at Southern University. You want to be on the show?" And he just strikes up conversations with people, and before they leave, it's like it's the best friend they ever had in life. You're a people person. And again, being a product of your life experience, growing up with not having much of anything, learning how to make do, that's a lesson a lot more people need in life, Coach.
Oh, they really do. I had a conversation yesterday with an older gentleman, older than I, and he mentioned that about how they learned to do things with what they had to work with. He said the thing with kids today, they have so much, they can't decide what the hell they want to use to work. That's the way he said it. Hey, I'm using words, I'm sorry. All you people out there, try to forgive me if I say that.
But you know, to hear you say that, One of the many, many, many sayings that in the years, almost 15 years of hosting Eddie Robinson's show, he said something once that really stuck with me, and it's a direct connection to what you say. Coach Robinson used to have a saying: black people have had to do so much with so little for so long that now they can do just about anything with nothing.
That's true.
You learn, regardless of what the circumstances are, whatever the situation is, you take what you have and use whatever that is, how little it is, to get where you want to go. And fortunately, and I mean this sincerely, the African American community, because of examples like Eddie Robinson, Marino Chasm, Roger Cador, others, we've come to the realization that this is the land of milk and honey. It may not be all milk, all honey, all the time, but if you're willing to make that sacrifice and work hard, the sky is the limit.
It is. I want to go back and recite another moment. We were coaching. It rained a lot. We were playing Southeastern in Hammer and playing them at Southern, and we had a pile of water at shortstop.
Okay.
Water had just set in. The coach said, "Coach, there's no way we could play." And I said, we'll be able to play this game today. And he's shaking his head in dismay that I would even say that, because all the water was there. And I told my kids, I said, I want y'all to go under the hump and get some dry dirt. When they're going to put it in there, and I had some on there, I said, what we're going to do is dig a hole right in the center here.
Okay.
And then drain it out, put the water. Then we throw all the dry dirt in there, and we'll drag it, and in 15, 20 minutes, we'll be able to play
ball.
The coach couldn't believe it. And I said, Coach, I learned this from many moons ago.
Yeah.
You know, I said, it's not that difficult. If you're going to make something, you got to take the soft out and put the hard in.
Yeah.
And then you can make it work.
It goes kind of against the grain of a civilized, quote unquote, society. The goal is for parents. We want our kids to have a better life than we did. We want our kids to have it easier than we did. We want our kids to get a better education, live in a better neighborhood. But if you're not careful in attempting to give them that, you can handicap them, you can hinder them, can't you?
They need to learn. You're right, you can handicap them. They need to learn how to be able to improvise. Things are going to come up where the books thing ain't going to work. It's going to take logic, on-the-spot logic to make it happen. And I always felt that I could always be able to make something happen. Because in those situations, then I ain't going to be able to figure something out.
And that's why the record is what the record is. We'll take a quick break. I know we're fat, but we'll get it back on the back end as we continue this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Smart Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge because BTR is so close and convenient, they're always one step ahead, rather than dead on their feet. So, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport.
Have a passion? We've got the place. Gear up for where the rubber meets the mud, or stir up memories of a lifetime. Reach new heights. Gravitate towards something out of this world. Even travel back in time. You might like a little drama in your life, or get in touch with your inner nature lover. Release some pent-up energy while you're at it. There's plenty to do beyond the swing sets. BRAC, we're more than a playground.
Welcome back to this. Boy, if y'all only knew what happens during commercial breaks of the Roger Cador Show. A couple of other things on the collegiate baseball scene before we talk about the latest developments in the major leagues with the labor situation there. Obviously, University of Maine comes down to Baton Rouge, open the season against a storied program like LSU. They give up 51 runs in a 3-game series. Obviously, they were overmatched from the get-go. What do you tell your team after a 3-game series and you give up 51 runs? What do you say to them?
We just talk about the next
Not a whole lot you can say.
That's right. You can't. Plus, a team like Maine who probably hadn't been outdoors.
Right.
I mean, they're up there in Maine.
Oh,
and,
yeah, this time of year.
Everything was probably, I would say, done indoors. So, and it's a big difference. But you remember years ago, Maine used to be a top team.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, they were really a top team program. So, but the key is it all work out, and they'll be competitive in their league. And but when you come and play LSU, imagine they were jacked up too. LSU.
Oh yeah.
A new coach, a new era. And he's got good players.
Right.
On top of that. So,
right.
So they'll be good. I guess LSU go on the road tonight or tomorrow, right? I think they may do a road trip.
I want to say Louisiana Tech is the first one. I want to say it's the
LSU probably won't get challenged until the third weekend. They'll probably play somebody comparable to them, and they'll be challenged a little more.
Meanwhile, Jaguars open the season 2-1 at the Andre Dawson Classic in New Orleans. Could have well have easily won that third game against Florida A&M. I want to say they gave up a 4-run lead in the game. Typically, an event like that, how much do the players want to win an event like that?
Well, they want to win.
Particularly when you're talking Jackson State, Florida A&M, teams of that caliber.
They want to win. There's obviously no doubt about it. I mean, there was a lot of hype watching the kid. They had a lot of energy. And they played in a really good facility.
Fans that have never been, what are they missing out on?
They're missing out on the college experience, the amateurism of a kid playing. It's a little different than the pros.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you get to see the innocence of the game at its very best. And I like that fact that, kids are really playing hard and trying to make everything work for them.
And when you're talking about conference affiliates, that competitiveness, because you're talking bragging rights, you're talking about being able to rib guys through the whole season. I mean, that's an extra measure of incentive there for you to want to win, isn't it?
Yeah, and the two teams that you got to beat for the conference championship are Jackson State, Alabama State, and probably not FAMU. So you got to see all three of them in that tournament. So that's really something you can file away.
Yeah, that to me is an intriguing matchup and has the possibility of really developing into a really nice rivalry. Florida A&M and the Jaguars in baseball.
Well, they won't be playing much of each other because they're in different.
Yeah.
And the travel.
But at some point.
At some point, yeah, in the league tournament, yes, you'll play. But yeah, I agree that the tradition of Southern playing fam in sports has gone back. And Andre Dawson and I got to talk a little about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he went to fam.
Right.
Yeah, and we talked about it.
Wow.
He played after me, but he played against Danny Goodwin and them guys.
Right.
So, and he talked about, what great players and games and people being able to talk trash.
Right.
You could talk trash back then.
Yeah.
You know, and when I say talk trash, it's so prevalent in our community. It wasn't going to start any fight.
No.
It was just
it was all part of the game.
Part of the game.
Yeah.
And they're taking it away.
Yeah. You think back to the likes of Dwight Gooden. You think back to all the great names that we were privileged to watch on the fields of HBCU Diamonds. Are those days gone forever, Coach?
You're not going to see those kind of guys because they're never going to make it to college. Now, Dwight Gooden didn't play in college. He signed out of high school.
Right.
But Andre Dawson would never have made it to college. You see what I'm saying? The Ricky Weekses, Michael Woods Jr. I mean, those kids they're not going to make it to college.
Yeah.
And if they do, they're going to a big school. You're going to have to be able...
And for the sake of those that don't know, when you say they're not going to make it to college, it's not that they're not college material, it's that the major leagues recognize the talent and they're going to snatch them up with a very attractive signing bonus. They're going to send them to the minor leagues, and then they progress from there.
And you can't find diamond in the roughs like I did based upon the Hank Aaron Classic, the Jackie Robinson Classic, the Urban. They've got so many leagues that MLB is doing.
Right.
And then now everybody's being discovered.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find some unusual situation. A kid is in the boondocks somewhere that didn't get a chance to go to one of those things. And that's the only way.
Yeah.
Other than that, somebody's going to notice him. So he's not a sleeper anymore. Even though Ricky Weeks had gone to all of those things and they still missed.
Yeah. I'll never forget, Coach. I was in just a random conversation with Skip Bergman at the box once. And we were talking about the wonderful nature of the game, how it's family oriented, so on and so forth. And he asked me, he said, so I take it your dad's an LSU baseball fan? Because he knew I was. And I said, well, no, he doesn't particularly care for LSU. And Skip, being the guy that he is, wasn't going to just let that sit right there. So he asked me, he said, why didn't your dad care for LSU baseball? I said, you want the truth? He said, yeah, don't tell me. If it's not the truth, don't tell me. I said, well, Skip, my father thinks that LSU goes out of its way not to have black players on the team. And he got a little bit of a smile on his face. He said, Bugs, let me tell you why that's not true. That's where I found out that if you are an African-American high school kid and you've got promise, more than likely, just because the numbers are what the numbers are, there's a good chance you come from an impoverished background. And they're going to wave that signing bonus in your face. And if mom and dad are struggling to feed the siblings that are still at home, you're going to take that signing bonus and you're going to start in the minor leagues and you're going to work your way up if you believe in your talent. And most young men of color back then, if you were good enough to play at LSU, the major leagues were going to snatch you before you ever set foot on campus. Do you think most of us grasp that reality and why we don't support teams like LSU in the black community?
Let me just say that the time you talked with Skip about it, I don't care what Skip said, that was never going to happen. Well, we're going to be some black kids at LSU.
Well, there was.
Hold on, I'm talking about before he came.
Oh, before he came.
Yeah, there was never going to be any there. You know, and he didn't start getting them until he got Joey Bell and his brother.
Right. And Lyle Mouton.
Lyle Mouton, yeah, and a couple others. So the point I'm making is this. That was a consensus that, you know, black kids weren't fundamentally sound enough to play at those schools.
Right. You had to have a wealth of raw talent before they could get past.
Right.
Can you do the basics?
Can you do the basics? Because baseball, remember, you don't have to be the most talented kid to be valuable to the team and the team win. That's what's the thing.
That's one of the beauties of the game.
The beauty of the game is that, and they could win with an inferior second baseman or third baseman.
Right.
They could win with that.
Right.
So it's not going to bring a black kid in, and they feel that it's not. That's why if you look at what has happened, there are very few black infielders because the white coaches stick them all in the outfield. Say, go run and catch the ball. That's why they say you can run, go play. You
got speed,
outfield.
you got the bigger arm.
That's what happened to Ricky Weeks. Coach did it, and the coach admitted it to me.
Right.
He wanted his son to play the position. I mean, you know, and he told me Ricky could play infield.
Right.
That's what he told me.
Wow.
But he did me a favor.
Yeah.
He forced Ricky to lane in because the people couldn't see him where he truly was.
Right.
So there was some benefit. Ricky is more the exception than the norm.
What does your heart tell you? If more fans were privy to the inner workings of the programs and the game itself, would they be more appreciative, or is this the age in America where a whole lot of us are just looking for something to be upset about?
I like the way you put that.
Well, I try to be diplomatic, but some people would rather have a grievance than a job.
Yes. And I know some people live for that.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll call-in shows and gripe about everything.
Hadn't been to a game in 30 years, hadn't bought a ticket, bag of popcorn, nothing.
And they would look at that's straw in my eyes and won't see the building in his. I mean, that's really... Those people exist.
Oh, yeah.
And they complain and they criticize rather than try to find something positive.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the old saying...
I'm glad you brought that up because they're out there.
Oh, yeah. The old saying is some people would rather have a grievance than a job. To have a grievance, all you got to do is sit on your butt and point the finger of blame at somebody else. On the other hand, to have a job, you got to get off your you-know-what and go to work. I see you, Marty. I see you. My peripheral vision is fine, brother. Don't panic. in the words of the late Dr. Isaac Patty Greggs, it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. Final break. We'll get her done. Come back and wrap up today's edition of the Roger Cador Show.
We're having fun. I don't want it to end.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock, conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946. Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunners 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Roger Cador Show, made possible in part by some absolutely wonderful sponsors. And the newest member of the sponsorship family are our friends over at Powerhouse Outdoors. Listen, whether you need new or used motorcycle, ATV, side-by-side, personal watercraft, that's the place to go. With a 25,000 square foot facility, if they don't have it, they can get it. If they can't get it, you probably don't need it. No, I'm just kidding. Just wait, give them a little time. They'll get you whatever you want. But being here in South Louisiana, they understand full well that service after the sale is as important, if not more so, than the sale itself. 2323 Florida Boulevard in Denham. Do us a big favor and do yourself a favor, not to mention those in your family and those that you love. Give them a chance to prove themselves. They'd love it, and you can't go wrong. Coach, this week, Major League Baseball formally canceling the first week of exhibition play, saying that there will be no games before March 5th. Kind of saw this coming, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, we knew what's coming. The owners finally got the players in a vulnerable position. This is why for 32 days they didn't negotiate from December to January or something.
Right.
They knew that they had them where they wanted them, and so now they're squeezing them to see if they can get them to give up some in their demands.
Help us lay people out. Can you negotiate for a new collective bargaining agreement while the current one is still in place? And here's why I ask. If the players knew the expiration date of the collective bargaining agreement, knowing there are going to be some issues after that, could they have started negotiating much earlier to try and avoid a scenario like this? Or were the owners hoping it would come to this?
Well, they did start negotiating before it was.
They just can't make any headway.
There you go. You know, they talked about small talk.
Right.
You know, and because that's all you can do before it really ends.
Right.
Unless if both sides are serious about trying to make it happen.
Right.
But the owners don't want that luxury tax thing. They're using it as what they have in the NFL, salary cap. Okay. They're using the luxury cap as a salary, the luxury tax as a salary cap.
Right.
And that's what the agents and the players don't want. Now, who are going to be hurt by a salary cap? It's the big time players,
right?
The big money guys.
Yeah.
Not the little guy in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
See, they're going to continue to sign them guys at a really good price.
Yeah.
But they want to keep the big Mike Trout and the young kid with Toronto. Not Toronto. Well, when he comes up, Guerrero and Bichette, don't want them to get the big money.
Yeah. Now, from an outsider looking in, and from someone who's had the benefit of going to spring training and seeing firsthand what it means in these respective cities, the thing that bothers me the most about this impasse is that it ends up with the little guy being hurt the most. The merchants, the vendors, the business people in these cities, and the fans. They're the ones that would appear to suffer the most from something like this.
Oh, they are the one. But that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And who else going to suffer is the major league players who didn't save the money for this.
Prepare for this eventuality.
Because remember, you're negotiating with billionaires.
Yeah.
You got 32 billionaires. So it's not going to hurt them.
Right.
And they probably had strike insurance. You never know.
Yeah. How do you think the average casual fan views this between this strife between the owners and the players?
Well, they're angry about it. They don't like it.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them.
Yeah. Here I am suffering with my kids out of school, my job, cut my hours back because of COVID, and y'all can't get on the field and play the game so that I can get away from this for just a couple of hours. Fans don't appreciate that.
Yeah, they don't appreciate it. I mean, how much money is how much is enough money?
Yeah.
You know, the guys who deserve the big money is going to get it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I don't know, Clarence. My sources tell me that, you know, maybe 2 weeks they may be able to come and get this thing done.
Right.
They know they need to hurry and get it done, though.
Uh-huh. Are they killing the golden goose? Are they killing the goose that laid the golden egg? Or is this about, quote, fairness for both the players and the coach?
Buck O'Neil said this game is so great, you can't kill it. The 1919 Black scandal.
Right, Black Sox scandal.
Black Sox scandal. Can't kill it. That's 84 strike. You can't kill it.
Uh-huh.
You got the all the other things that this game is so great you can't kill it. It always bounces back.
I hope you're right, because as long as I can remember, this wonderful game has been equated with everything that America has to offer. Baseball, apple pie, Chevrolet. We've heard for generations, and baseball is always included in that. I would really, truly hate to see that they killed the goose that laid the golden egg, all because somebody wanted more money.
Well, listen, we know there is no goose that exists that lays a golden egg, okay? Let's throw that out of the window.
They killed it already? Well, we're going to keep an eye on this, because it's the time of year where fans and baseball fans are maybe more intricate, more involved than other fans of other sports. But at the end of the day, they need that getaway time. And baseball owes the fans putting a good product on the field. That's going to do it for this week. On behalf of who's in the truck? Alan and Jonathan are out in the truck. Floor producer extraordinaire, Marty. Of course, the coach, I'm Clarence Buggs, thanking you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Oh, wait, no, we're off for Mardi Gras, so we'll see you the week after.